Hey everyone, welcome to this month's Flamingo Community Lagoon, where we kick back and chat about Flamingo, the project roadmap, DeFi, crypto markets, or anything else that the community wants to ask us. This is an AMA, so you are welcome to ask me anything or ask the team anything. The devs aren't here today, so the team is almost cut in half today, but that's okay because we have a lot of really neat marketing stuff to talk about and a lot of stuff happening in the Neo ecosystem lately. So we'll get into that as well. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, Flamingo Finance is an easy-to-use DeFi platform built on the Neo N3 blockchain. As a decentralized exchange, Flamingo is designed with smart functions for everyone, from beginners to advanced cryptocurrency users. On Flamingo, users can stake cryptocurrency in liquidity pools, earn rewards in our native token Flamingo, as well as borrow tokens in FUSD against collateral. We've been around for almost 3 years and actually for over 3 years now, and currently have a TVL or total locked value of over 30 million. For those listening in on YouTube, we hold these lagoons live on our Discord channel, which we will link below this video. Thanks everyone for joining this special Halloween edition of the Flamingo Community Lagoon. I know that a lot of countries don't celebrate Halloween, but it's Halloween here in the States, so I'm going to say happy Halloween, everyone. At least here in the States, we usually go what's called trick-or-treating, where mostly kids, but sometimes, teenagers and even adults will dress up in costume and go around door to door in different neighborhoods to collect candy from all the different neighbors. And it's a nice little event for kids to go do. It's also, the holiday where teenagers like to be a little bit crazy and maybe pull some pranks on each other or houses in the neighborhood. Trying to think of some of maybe the pranks I used to do back in my youth. I wasn't that much of a hooligan. I don't think I pulled that many pranks. I don't know about you guys. Anyone else on the team?
No, I never used to do anything crazy, but I always wanted to. I wanted to TP a house at least once, but I never got the chance. My parents were too strict, and maybe that's for the best.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, this is an AMA. Anyone, feel free to raise your hand in the audience and we'll invite you onto the stage to speak your mind or ask us any questions you have about the platform, Flamingo Finance, or what's been happening with the current Dazili campaign, anything like that. Any questions you have, feel free to come up on stage and ask us or drop them right in the chat. We'll be kind of closely monitoring that throughout the Lagoon. That said, this might be a little bit of a shorter Lagoon because the lead devs, Mr. Google and Atlaser, aren't here today. The reason for that is they are both currently in Hong Kong. They've been invited by the Neo team. Neo is the blockchain that we are built on. They've been invited by the Neo team to join what Neo is calling the Neo Assembly. Different projects and project leaders and other folks within the Neo ecosystem are joining the Neo Assembly to kind of give presentations to each other, to talk amongst each other about ideas they have, ways that they can grow Neo, maybe ideas they have specifically for their projects, things like that, as well as Neo is hosting the finale of this multi-month long Hong Kong Web3 hackathon that they've been holding. They announced several winners for that hackathon at the finale. I can get into that a little bit. I know that they awarded grand prizes of $10,000 and $3,000 to like a student team. I believe each project that won $10,000, and several projects won. So it was a major hackathon. The grand prize winners include for the DeFi and payment reward, the project was called Profit. The NFT and gaming reward went to a project called Card Brawl. The AI, social, and DAO reward went to a project called Magipop. The infrastructure reward went to a project called Neocast. There was also a general/special reward, which was given to a project called Respect. And the student team that won $3,000 was called Super Squad. So keep an eye out for these new projects in the Neo ecosystem. I know that we're very excited to see what these guys build and what they come up with and what they bring to the table. It's always nice to see coming along and building something new and different and unique to the space as well as to Neo. And of course, they always bring new users and new use cases to blockchain and to Neo. So always nice to see that. At the Neo Assembly / Hackathon finale, Da Hongfei, the one of the initial founders of Neo, actually gave a nice presentation on stage to everyone at the event, and he revealed a pretty game-changing thing for Neo. They're calling it like an EVM compatible sidechain. So they're going to launch it on testnet first, and then move to mainnet with it. The goals for the sidechain include bringing advanced security, privacy, and usability to the growing DeFi space, which I think will include Flamingo for sure, since we are the premier DeFi index on Neo. As well as, with a critical objective of robustness to maximal extractable value, aka MEV, attacks and manipulation. So if all goes to plan, stakeholders in the Neo ecosystem may expect heightened utility and market dynamism for Neo and gas tokens, propelled by expanded use cases and increased network activity. So those in the audience and on the team, I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of the tokens in the ecosystem on Flamingo these past few days have been going a little crazy, very volatile. I assume, and again, not financial advice, but I assume it's because of all of these new use cases that Neo has announced. I guess people are going to start being able to vote on sidechain governance with Neo's gas token, which is very interesting because until now, investors vote with Neo tokens to earn gas. So voting with gas tokens, and we don't know what the incentive will be to do that, but I think a lot of folks are speculating. So because of that, the gas prices have been pretty crazy lately. I don't know if anyone else wants to chime in on that, but it's been kind of wild.
They are trying to dump gas again, but it's not working. I see. Insane how strong it is.
I'm waiting for it to dump so I can buy some more.
Yeah, but too many people are waiting then. I think.
Still $5. Wow. But I liked what Nori said the other day. He said something about like everyone's too traumatized to recognize a real rally. Because people lately are just used to like quick pumps in the market and then it'll dump right back down because of the, bear market that we're
profit taking, and nobody is collecting tokens. But now we have a token that people are starting to collect. So there is a real demand, and then you sell into the pump thinking it's going to go down, but people are the people that are buying now are not buying to sell tomorrow, but maybe in a month or two or three. So the price is going to do some weird things, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and we also see the gas to Neo ratio is like way out of whack. I mean, for the past, as long as I can remember, basically it's grown maybe 1% every few months or something. I think a while ago it was like 25%, and then next thing you know it's 26%, and then 27%, and I think lately it's been more like 30% or 32%, 33%, but these last few days it's been like 60% gas to Neo ratio, which is just crazy. And normally, when that happens, we see gas fall right back down within hours or days.
Yeah, it's very quickly.
But it's not this time. So the ratio is sticking, which is crazy because right now holding Neo gains you like an APY of like, what is it, like 27% or something like that, which is pretty high. Usually it's like around 15%, right?
Yeah, it's holding there.
So I'm surprised that Neo is not pumping as much as gas. Maybe these people who are buying it don't realize that you can earn gas by holding Neo. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but people that want to buy a Neo to get the gas are still waiting if the price of gas is stable now. Because if it goes back down to $1, then yeah, it's not interesting to buy Neo now. But if it stays like this for now, maybe a week or 2 weeks, and it becomes a new floor, then I think we will see a rush on Neo. Maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, it's a good point. Personally, and this isn't financial advice, obviously, but personally, the way I look at it is because the ratio there's so many different ways to look at this, but because the ratio has typically been around 30% lately, and now it's like 60%, I personally think it's going to fall back down to 30%, either by Neo coming back up to join gas to bring the ratio back to 30%, or by gas falling to bring it back down to 30% to match with Neo. Either way, though, like, if neither of those things happen and gas sticks and Neo still is fairly low, then the APY is high. So it's like you're good either way, right? Like, how can you lose if you swap gas to Neo? Because Neo is either going to rise up to gas, or gas is going to fall down anyway, or you're going to get the high APY anyway. That's just the way I'm looking at it. But obviously all speculation and not advice or anything like that. But it's just kind of my opinion. Seems like holding Neo might be the play here, or trading to Neo. But anyway, we try not to speculate too much. And that's just me, like, putting some ideas in your heads, but don't go trade anything based on my opinions. All that said, I think that's all super exciting. The devs aren't here, so we get to party. No, we'll get into some marketing stuff and some Zealy stuff, I think, because that's been really the main driver in Flamingo Finance, at least the last month or so, is this massive Zealy campaign that we've been holding for the Flamingo Turns 3 birthday, with $3,333 for rewards. We thought that and I'm sorry to the team if this sounds repetitive, because I kind of already went over this in the previous meme to earn fireplace an hour ago, but because this is Flamingo and we have a new audience, and I think I should go over it again. But we thought that there were only going to be, like, we had no idea how big or how small this Zealy campaign was going to be. I mean, we came up with a good budget for prizes, but we didn't know how many participants there were going to be. We didn't know if it was going to be like 20 people. We didn't know if it was going to be like 100 people, maybe a few hundred people. But we personally, when we were like putting our heads together, we thought that rewarding 100 people was going to be a lot. We were like, wow, we've never rewarded like 100 people for something, like, but let's give it a shot, and if 100 people don't participate, then we'll just give bigger rewards to those who do. But I think 100 is a good number, and everyone agreed. And here we are today with like 6,700 people participated. It's insanity. So I think it's been really, really successful, but almost too successful because we had no idea that 6,700 people were going to participate. We thought it would be in the hundreds. So it seems like a lot of users, even though we're rewarding a lot of money to 100 users, there's still thousands out there who are participating and aren't able to, receive rewards just because we're only rewarding the top 100. Let's face it, a lot of the people who are participating aren't even people. Like a lot of them are just like bots. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are people who, have been working hard all month. So, that said, we're going to kind of go back to the drawing board a bit after we tally up all of the tasks for this one. And I think for next month, we're going to run it a little bit differently. We're thinking of basing it off levels rather than basing it off the leaderboard. So all it will take is you do X amount of tasks to get you to level 2 or 3. And as long as you get to one of those levels, you get a reward. And then we will split up the monthly budget over however many users reach that level. So if the budget is, and I'm just pulling a number out of my ASS for anything. I'm just pulling a number out of my hat. Let's say we reward $500 a month. We'll disperse that $500 over however many people reach like level 3. So let's say 100 people reach level 3, then they each get $5. 50 people reach level 3, then they each get $10. But again, those numbers are just hypothetical. But yeah, once we base it on levels, it won't matter how many people participate. I mean, the more that participate, the more that reach that level, then yeah, the less the reward each one will get. But we won't be like locking people out of rewards because of the leaderboard system. So should be good. I think we'll probably have fewer kind of people complaining about doing the tasks and receiving nothing in the end, because it's like if you do the tasks and you do them correctly, you're going to receive something. So that'll be nice to see. This has been a lot of work, like an insane amount of work for the team, because not only do we have to come up with each individual task, like come up with it off the top of our heads, like what do we want our users to do? What do we want new users to do? People who haven't even heard of Flamingo, what do we want them to do? Okay. First of all, we want this to be a marketing specific campaign. We didn't want this to be educational. We didn't want this to be trying to get people to invest thousands of dollars in Flamingo. That all comes later. First, we need just the numbers. We need the people. So we wanted specifically to specify the goal of making this marketing only. What that means is most of our tasks were about driving numbers, driving more people to our Discord, driving more people to our Medium, to our YouTube, to our Spotify, all of the above, as well as getting more people to tweet about Flamingo, getting more people to like our tweets, retweet our tweets, comment on our tweets. All of those things drive the numbers. Once we get all those numbers coming in and we've got thousands of more people in the Discord and on the Twitter and all of that, then we can start educating them. That comes next. We're going to do that with landing pages, and we're going to reward people with these landing pages. So if you go to Flamingo, maybe you click on a certain link that brings you to a certain Flamingo Finance landing page, and you do certain tasks within that landing page, like connect a wallet or buy 10 FLM or gas or something like that, then we'll reward you tokens, and that will be like incentivized education. And then the investment piece is kind of like a third kind of chunk of that. That'll come even later. So first, marketing, drive the numbers. Second, education, get those numbers to become involved and educated with Flamingo. And then third, create investors out of those people. That's kind of been the game plan. I think it's working so far, especially with Zeely. the Zeely campaign had a lot more people than we anticipated. And now those people are on the Discord. They're asking us questions. They're creating the wallets. They're buying FLM. They're joining the hodler program. Like, all of these things are a big deal, and they all add up at the end of the day. Yeah, it only takes one FLM to become a hodler, but let's face it, these hodlers now know that FLM exists. They know that Neo exists. They know that Gas exists. They have a Neo wallet. These are thousands of more people that we didn't have before. Like, I think that's a huge win, whether or not they're buying thousands of dollars worth of FLM or not. Like, now we have what I've called kind of like a small army of people that we can educate and turn into investors, right? So, and a lot of these people are eager to learn about Flamingo, and eager to invest, and eager to stake, and eager to earn money various ways, and eager to borrow FUSD. And these people, want to learn. They want to know what we're doing. And before Zeely, 90% of them might have never even heard of Flamingo before. And now we have all of these people joining our stuff and wanting to know more. And I know a lot of it can seem spammy. A lot of it does seem like, bot behavior. But I think that comes with the territory, especially in Web3. And it does seem, even though with all of the bots and the spam and this and that, it does still seem worthwhile. And so I guess the long-winded point I'm trying to make is, even though the team has been spending almost all of our time on Zeely the last month or two, I think it's been worth it. We spent a lot of time and money running paid ads before this, and I think that was worth it as well. But it was difficult to gauge how many people were coming to Flamingo, how many people were staying, how many people were actually getting wallets and linking them to connecting them to Flamingo or buying tokens. Like, we couldn't really gauge any of that because we don't track those things because we're DeFi. But with Zeely, it's different. We can track it all. We know the exact numbers of people. We see it. That's how we reward the XP, right? Like, people are dropping screenshots. It's one of the things one of the things that's been keeping Zatrov so busy with tracking down this actual final 100 on the leaderboard, is figuring out what's legit and what's not, because a lot of these users, like I said, might be bots or people who are just spamming every Zeely campaign they can find. And a lot of them aren't actually doing the tasks correctly. That's trackable. Like, we can go in and see, like, oh, that person actually didn't make that tweet even though they said they did, or that person never actually linked a Neo wallet like they said they did, or that person didn't even join our Discord or invite 10 people or whatever. So all of this stuff actually becomes trackable from Zeely. So we still don't have to track people within Flamingo, but we can track it all within Zeely. We can see who's doing what, how many people are doing what, and we can see that. I mean, I've had people DM me and congratulate me, just saying things like, wow, like, I'm seeing so much more engagement on Discord. Like, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because the Discord's like blowing up. And yes, again, a lot of it's like kind of spammy. I'm seeing a lot more just like, hi, hello, how's your day going, everyone, messages, but that keeps the Discord lively today, So again, just because these guys may or may not be coming with hundreds or thousands of dollars, like, it's got to start somewhere, right? And I think this is a great start. So I don't know if anyone else on the team wants to kind of weigh in on any of that stuff before I kind of move on.
Yeah, but actually, Zeely itself had to check these tweets, retweets, likes, and comments, but due to a Twitter API bug that Elon Musk did recently, Zeely cannot check or verify these tweets, so I had to go back and forth again to check users' tasks, and that takes a really long time, sadly.
Yeah, I do see, pertaining to that, someone asking in the chat, how long will it take to announce the winners? I don't know if you have any more input on that, Zatroff. Like, do you have like an estimated maybe time or day
I'm planning to finish reviewing user tweets within these weekdays, so there will be no tasks will be left, and we will finalize the leaderboard.
So maybe in the next couple of days.
Yeah, this weekdays. Yeah, within this week.
Cool. I see a lot of participation. Great. Will there be another Zealy campaign? Yeah, I think there will be. I mean, that's always been our plan, to like keep the momentum going with Zealy, because it's been so successful. I don't see why we shouldn't keep it going. But that said, I think we're going to do things a little bit differently, and I think I might have already explained like the leveling versus rewarding just like the top 100 on the leaderboard. So, I think it is going to take, maybe a couple weeks to get the next Zealy campaign off the ground, because like I said, it takes a lot of time to come up with all the different tasks, as well as write the text for all the different tasks, as well as, each of these tasks has all of their own criteria that needs to be set, right? So one task might be, this task can't be completed after Friday. This one might say, this one can't be completed before tomorrow. This one might say, this one is a timed task and can only be completed today. There's all these different criteria that we have to set to every single task that we create. And all of that it's busy work, really. I mean, it's all kind of tedious. Even though we might know off the top of our head what we want the task to be, we still have to go into Zealy and manually set all of those things. So, and obviously we can't just duplicate all of them from this contest to the next one, because everyone's already done a lot of this stuff. So we have to come up with a whole list of new tasks in order to keep the campaigns going. So that's going to take some time, because we're still not even finished with the last campaign from before. So once we finish that in the next few days, then we'll go back to the drawing board. We'll create some new tasks. We'll decide on the amount to reward every month. And we'll also have to spend some more time deciding on how much XP each task rewards, because if we do base it on the level system, that level system is decided by Zealy. I think Zealy has their own criteria for what constitutes a user to get to level 1 versus level 2 versus level 3, on and on. So we have to go back to the drawing board and take those numbers and say, okay, well, this tweet should equal 40 XP, or this tweet should equal 100 XP. And that's all going to take time too, right? Having to diversify the XP up like that, and decide on like what equals level 2, what equals level 3, what do we want to see users doing in order to get the rewards. Before, with the leaderboard, the XP didn't matter as much, because it was like more arbitrary, right? Like, obviously the more important the task, the higher the XP, but at the end of the day, people are competing against each other. Whereas in the future, people will not compete against each other. They'll basically compete for the levels, right? They won't be competing for between each other. They'll just be competing by themselves to reach the levels. So all this stuff takes a lot of time. So we're going to get it out as fast as we can. I can't make any promises if it's going to be like next week or tomorrow or something. I don't know how long it's going to take, because there's a lot that goes into it. So does anyone else have any other questions, comments, or just want to come up on stage and hang out, or tell us how your day is going, or what you've been up to in the crazy volatile Neo ecosystem market, or anything like that? Feel free to raise your hand and we'll invite you on stage, or drop your question or comment in the chat. I'm going to refer back to my notes to see if there's anything else I planned on kind of touching on today. Let's see. Got through that. Yeah, I don't know if Zatrov, if you want to maybe discuss some of the different tasks we had with Zeely for this campaign.
Yeah, we had tweeting tasks and liking, retweeting, and commenting to our current tasks. We made users tweet our Lagoon Spotify account so people can check the previous AMAs and listen them. So we had our Flamingo Boat Club mission. So people linked their Discord accounts with their Neo wallets. So they have claimed their Boathouse Club role. We had casual missions like following our Discord, Twitter account, Medium article account. So that's all we got.
And we had a bunch of quizzes.
Yeah. We also had very high number of quizzes because at first we used Zeely's actual quiz missions, but people with multiple accounts created multiple accounts to find the answers. So we had to switch those tasks to the text submissions, and to prevent people finding these answers, we had to approve all the missions, and at the end of the competition, we have rejected the wrong answers. We had to do that to eliminate those multi-accounts. Yeah, that's all.
Yep, good points. We thought we were going to use the quizzes as tiebreakers because there were so many ties throughout the whole campaign that there was no way. I think at one point the top 200 or 300 were all tied for first place, which that's how are we even going to reward, because we're only rewarding the top 100. So if there's 300 people tied for first place, let alone the top 100, but the first place, it's not going to work. So we had to come up with different ideas to break those ties. And our first idea was the quizzes. And like Zatarov said, we thought that was going to work out tremendously, but it didn't, because people who have multiple Zeely accounts just spam all the different answers, find the correct one, and then use all their other accounts to spam the correct answer. And so every time we would launch a new quiz, you'd see a handful of people answering all of the different answers, but then you'd see hundreds all swarming to the right answer right after that. So we pretty quickly figured out what was happening. So we changed that to the text form, and next thing you knew, we had a lot of people trying to ask us for the answers in the Discord, which obviously defeats the whole purpose of the task. But we had a lot of, sorry if you guys hear my dog grumbling over there, but yeah, we had a lot of people also, complimenting and saying wow, I didn't know this about Flamingo before. This is awesome. Or a lot of people actually were just silently just doing the research and finding the correct answers and answering correctly in the text box and no questions asked. And now they know a lot more about Flamingo. And so not only did it actually break the tiebreakers in the end, it did actually not only drive the numbers, as I said before, but it did also educate a lot of these people as well. So it was kind of grabbing two pears with one reach, so to speak. We got more people involved, as well as got more people actually researching the project on top of that. So it was just another kind of successful driving point at the end. Okay, we got a lot more users, and now we're teaching them about Flamingo too. We didn't even know in the beginning that was what we were going to do or trying to do, but it just kind of became the way to break the tiebreakers at the end. It just kind of naturally happened that way. So I think it worked out. And it was a great way to eliminate the bots. Obviously, the bots weren't able to answer the correct answer in text form, right? So we saw a lot of users answering with just ridiculous answers that made no sense, no sense at all. And so I think those were the bots, just answering whatever, a lot of them were answering just copy and pasting what the question was, answering the question with the question itself. And we were just what? A lot of people were answering with just answering like, what's the bridge? And they would give some weird answer like ChatGPT. I don't know. There were like a lot, the answers were all across the board. So that alone like really told us like who was legit and who was just like kind of faking it through the whole thing. So.
Yeah, and then just you got to consider too, like this is our first Zealy campaign, and this with everything, it's like a learning experience as well. And for the next one, I'm sure Zaltarov and Bordeaux, and we'll as a team will come up with like more innovative methods of avoiding kind of like these having to do these like tiebreaker things, and kind of just getting more people educated about the platform. And maybe the next ones will have like more incentives or just more ways to engage the community, I think. So it's been a good learning experience, I think, for everyone.
Does anyone in the audience have anything they would want to ask us, or feel free to drop it in the chat. I see. Okay. What do you think gas price predictions at the end of the year? Laughing emoji. I don't think we can speculate on exact prices. Personally, though, I will say that I think we are currently at maybe the bottom of a bull market. Like I am seeing sentiment changing, right? So all over crypto Twitter, during the bear market, I would just see nothing but FUD everywhere, whether it's FTX or whether it's just screenshots of coins crashing or memes of coins crashing, everyone just talking smack about crypto and Bitcoin and everything. I've seen, a lot more tweets about positive things in crypto. So you've got the BlackRock ETF like on the verge of being approved by the SEC. You've got the prices themselves are going up. I mean, Bitcoin was 16 grand like a couple months ago. Now it's 34, 35. Neo was like $6 like last week. Now it's 9 something. Gas was like $2 like last week. Now it's 5. I'm just seeing across the board like more bullish sentiment. So that said, I can't predict a specific price for gas, but in my opinion, not financial advice, but in my opinion, I think the whole crypto market is changing. I think it's all starting to go back up. Now, we also have the Bitcoin halving approaching, so that'll happen in April 2024. And obviously you can't like, history isn't like basing things off history. You can't do that by fact, but historically speaking, Bitcoin has had a major bull market directly after a halving event. And that's why halving events are so important in the eyes of like Bitcoin holders, because they know that historically speaking, Bitcoin has tremendously grown after halving. So we've got that coming up in April. And then all of this news in Neo lately. I don't know. Personally, I think it's a good time to buy, but that's just me. But no, I can't comment on a specific price. Let's see. We got another question. If you guys holding another campaign, add more on-chain tasks. Yeah, we did a couple on-chain tasks, right? So, I mean, I guess the first and foremost one is, in order to receive rewards, you need to have the Neo wallet. That's not really on-chain, but it kind of is, because you need the wallet in order for us to send you the reward on-chain. And then we also had the boathouse role, which participants had to buy 1 FLM. I saw some people complaining about that, but like, let's be real, 1 FLM was like 5 or 6 cents. So like, come on, 6 cents. I don't think that's something to complain over. It really helped us remove some bots, and it helped get people connected to the hodler program and get people involved in learning how to use the hodler program, syncing their accounts, all of that. It kept us tremendously busy because so many people had so many questions, and I think even Somnium Wave like had to go make a video real quick, a tutorial video on how to do it, which was really awesome, because then we could just like link to that when anyone asked after that. But That was an on-chain task. I'm trying to think of other on-chain tasks that we had. I think that might have been the only ones. The only thing is, like, with Flamingo at least. Oh, we also had creating a meme on Meme to Earn. It's not really an on-chain task, but Meme to Earn is built on Neo N3 as well, so it's kind of an on-chain task. It's difficult because most on-chain tasks with Flamingo require money, right? Whether that's buying FLM or staking some tokens, adding liquidity, borrowing FUSD, that all requires money. And we really wanted to keep this open to everyone to participate in. And if you start requiring money, then you're kind of blocking out people who don't have much money, which I don't think is fair, because suddenly we start requiring $10, $20, $100 or whatever to participate in earning more money, then it takes money to earn money, which, yeah, a lot of times that's true. But in this case, it was just like driving the numbers, and we wanted to make it free for everyone. In this case, it actually cost 5 cents. It cost you 5 cents to win because you needed to get into the hodler program. But next question, same person, AFW. It definitely costs money, but that's also normal for some campaigns. All right, well, maybe we can look into that a little bit more. So I guess if we were to do something like that, then maybe we could require users stake in a liquidity pool. I mean, I guess that doesn't require that much money. You can stake probably, just a couple tokens, like one FLM and one gas or something, or, fractions of a gas. Kind of a waste of money at the end of the day to do that because of the gas fees. But it's a way to get people to do it and learn how to do it. But that's the other thing, gas fees, right? Making all of these transactions costs gas fees. So sometimes something might cost 0.01 or 0.001 gas, which, might be like 20 cents or 2 cents or something. But some of these transactions, larger transactions can cost, half a gas, which is like, $2.50 or $5 or whatever, which obviously in the grand scheme of things isn't that much money. And that's the beauty of Neo. Like, if you go to do anything on Ethereum, it's going to cost you like $50, right?
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
But on Neo, it's like $2 or 20 cents, which is awesome, but it's still going to require like thousands of people to spend some money. So, but that's good feedback, AFW. The team will look at other campaigns and kind of see what other campaigns are doing in terms of that. And obviously, if anyone has any feedback or recommendations or certain tasks they want to see, like, we definitely welcome all of that in the Zilly channel or even in our general channel. Like, if you have some grandiose idea of some nice tasks that we can add that we didn't have before, like, please send them our way, because that's half the battle right now, is coming up with like the best tasks to add to the Zilly campaign. So thanks for that. Looks like we've got about 15 minutes left. If anyone has any other questions or comments or wants to come up on stage. I do also want to announce that we have ceased FLM minting rewards and trading of Dojif on Flamingo. I don't know if any of you missed that announcement last week, but Dodrift is basically discontinuing their Dojif token, because Dodrift is a 2-token system. They've got Doger and Dojif. They have decided amongst themselves to discontinue Dojif. So because of that, they're going to airdrop, I think it's 1 Doger for every 10 Dojif investors have. So if you want to hold Dojif and wait for that airdrop, I believe that airdrop is coming sometime in November. You can go over to the Dodrift Discord announcements to learn about when they're doing that. But in terms of Flamingo, yeah, they asked us to basically cease transactions for Dojif on Flamingo, just because, you know, they're discontinuing it. So, but again, if you want to earn some extra Doger, then holding on to your Dojif is one way to do it. Yes, I agree with you on this. How much do you expect FLM prices in this bull run? Again, we can't really speculate on the price because it's crypto, and, you know, we're dealing with investment and people and money, and we as the Flamingo team just do everything that we possibly can to make the platform easy to use, give the users the best experience, create and build functions and features that users want and need throughout their crypto journey, and, you know, listen to our users about what they want, what they need, feedback they have on certain tokens they want us to add to the platform, or hey, that user experience was a little bit funky, like I recommend maybe doing this, or I couldn't figure out that. So you know, every piece of feedback we get, we take back to the drawing board, and it's all very welcomed, and we appreciate all of you guys for always kind of keeping us in the know of how you feel about the platform. We do everything we can to make the platform as awesome as it can be. And with that, I think the token price will reflect that. Obviously, it's an inflationary token right now. Over the next like 15, 16 years or so, FLM will continue to inflate, but at a diminishing rate. Every year or every 6 months, the inflation rate will drop on FLM. And the more and more that happens, then the more and more users we have using the platform. Instead of being rewarded FLM based on like minting FLM, rewards will be based on fees from using the platform. So the goal is that we will be hopefully keeping APRs what they are, or increasing them, or not decreasing them too much. Even though the minting of FLM will drop, we're hoping that more and more users using the platform more and more will increase fees on the platform, which will then therefore increase the APR, because we'll be paying fees as rewards for staking, as well as flocks, things like that. So I don't know if any of you have heard about flocks yet, or not heard about flocks yet. That was actually one of the quiz questions we had with Zilly. What is the next system that will replace Flund? So Flund is currently what we're calling like a DTF, which is like a DEX traded fund. So you can buy into the Flund with FLM, and then over time, each Flund that you own is worth more and more FLM based on a number of things. So people leaving the Flund have to pay an exit fee, so that fee goes back into the fund. Also, fees from trading tokens on the platform go into the Flund, as well as a certain percentage of all new FLM minted goes into the Flund. And that's all great. And I think a lot of our users really, really appreciate the Flund, and, you know, love it and don't want to see it go. But at the end of the day, it may or may not be the best thing for the platform. And the reason I say that is because, and I can't get too deep into it, but the reason I say that is because what we had hoped with the Flund is to create long-term investors who want to support the platform. But the problem is people were just holding Flund to increase their FLM holdings, waiting for an FLM pump, then selling all their Flund, even with the exit fee, at a huge profit, and dumping it. And so when a token constantly pumps and dumps, it gains a bad reputation. And in that case, because of those reasons, there's a chance that the Flund is actually hurting the platform, because people are suddenly fudding FLM all over the place, and calling FLM a pump and dump token. And that's because, partly because all of these fund holders are selling at these peaks, and buying at the troughs, if you will. And that's creating, a lot more volatility, whereas the flocks will be more of a long-term hold, and you'll earn your rewards in the different tokens that the fees are paid in. So if you trade wrapped Bitcoin to wrapped ETH and you pay your fee in wrapped Bitcoin, then that wrapped Bitcoin is going to be dispersed amongst flocks holders. So it'll be kind of more like a dividend stock, if you will, rather than an ETF, rather than like an exchange traded fund or ETF. We're kind of making it more like a dividend stock. So rather, play on words, we took an ETF and we turned it into a DTF or a DEX traded fund. Now we're taking like a dividend stock and turning it into flocks. There's pros and cons to everything. There's been a lot of people concerned, like especially those who really like Flund. They're concerned about, you name it, there's a whole laundry list of concerns about sunsetting Flund. But there's also, I think, an equal amount of pros to flocks. I think there'll probably be less budding of FLM. There'll be less dumping of FLM, especially since when buying flocks, you'll be burning your FLM to buy flocks. So that'll actually turn this inflationary token to potentially even a deflationary token. There's a lot that goes into it. I think that's all I'll cover in regards to that for now. I'll wait for the devs to come back to kind of further discuss that, but just wanted to get into it for a moment since it was one of the questions in the Zilli campaign.
Yeah, somebody.
Let's see.
A user also asked, will there be any burning mechanism? Yes, you will burn your FLM to buy flux.
And then someone says, I kept my FLM in Binance. Is there any wallet with more rewards? I'm not sure what the current rewards are for holding FLM in Binance. Does anyone on the team know, or if anyone in the audience can drop it in the chat? I'm not sure what the reward is on Binance for holding FLM.
Yeah, I believe Binance is giving now 1 APR only, and 1 or 2.
1%?
Yeah, that's really low. Actually, if you want to to maximize your profits, you need to use Flamingo Finance DeFi platform.
Yeah, this isn't financial advice, but just to answer your question, if the APR is only 1 or 2% on Binance, holding your FLM in the Flamingo Fund right now is what, like 30 something percent APR? So that's like 15 to 30 times the APY of Binance. So I guess that would answer your question. Flund would be where you want to put it. All right, we got 5 minutes left. If no one else has any other questions in the audience or in the chat, thanks everyone for joining. This has been great. Happy Halloween. If you live in a country that goes trick-or-treating, take your kids out trick-or-treating or raise some hell in a graveyard or something. And we've got a couple more people chatting. Okay, thank you. Have a good day. You too, Erkan G. Got one more person typing. I actually, in the meantime, have a 1-year-old daughter now who's actually turning 1 in a few days. So we'll be taking her out on her first little trick-or-treat extravaganza tonight. We're going to dress her up as Snow White. And
nice.
She can't eat candy yet, but, we'll just walk her up to some neighbors' doors and just kind of introduce ourselves and say hi, and should be a good time. But can you please repeat your answer of burning FLM? So there's currently no burning mechanism for FLM, but with the proposed flocks system, again, this is hypothetical. It's all still in the works. When users buy flocks, they'll be burning the FLM in order to buy flocks. So if you buy $100 worth of flocks, I believe this is how it will work. I'm not a dev, but I believe, let's say you spent $1,000 of Bitcoin to buy $1,000 of flocks. I think what will happen is Flamingo will take the $1,000 of Bitcoin, trade it for $1,000 of FLM, then it'll give you $1,000 of flocks and burn all those FLM. So in a sense, you're buying flocks with Bitcoin, but burning that much FLM as you do it. And that should increase the value of FLM over time because there'll be a lot less of them or fewer of them in circulation and in the total supply. Whereas right now it's inflationary. Burning FLM will not only combat inflation, but then the hope is that over time, not only will it combat inflation, but it'll actually create a deflationary state of FLM because we're hoping that it'll create even more burning than there is minting. I hope that answers your question. So yeah, happy Halloween, everyone. Thanks for joining. This has been a good Lagoon, even without the devs. I think they'll be pumped to listen to it on YouTube later. For those listening on YouTube, we'll post the link below to our Discord channel where we do have these community lagoons every month in a live setting so that you can join. You can join us on stage. You can ask your questions in the chat and we'll answer. So feel free to do so. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining and we'll see you next time.
See you all. Have a good day. Have a good day.
Take care, guys.
Bye bye.